This audiobook opens the gateway to the divine shift, where you awaken to the truth that you are not the leaf in the wind. You are the wind itself. The law of attraction has always been the constant force shaping your world. Today you claim it with awareness. The divine shift. Introduction. Across the corridors of eternity, this sacred knowledge has traveled, passed in whispers from soul to soul, guarded by those who knew its immeasurable worth. Now, as if summoned by destiny, these eternal truths rise again to awaken your path. The law of attraction is the hidden rhythm of existence, unchanging as the stars, faithful as the dawn, yet it reveals its greatest power only when you awaken to it. You are more than flesh and bone. You are an energy that extends into the infinite tapestry of creation. Every thought you entertain, every feeling you cradle, weaves itself into that tapestry, summoning experiences that echo your inner song. When you breathe doubt, the world answers with doubt. When you radiate abundance, the universe floods you with abundance. For the cosmos itself is a mirror of perfect reciprocity, like calls to like. Light draws light. Joy calls forth joy. Life does not punish, nor does it reward. It only reflects the harmony you project within. Yet many wander the earth unaware, imagining themselves as fragile leaves tossed upon the winds of fate, not realizing they are the wind itself. Unawareness does not silence the law, just as clouds do not extinguish the sun. It is always in motion, faithful and precise. To awaken to this truth is to enter the divine shift, a sacred turning where you cease to be a bystander of chance and become a conscious co-creator with the infinite. From this moment on, every thought becomes a seed of destiny, every belief the climate in which your future blossoms or withers. This is the holy awakening, the recognition that creation itself has always answered to you. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. The Awakening of Desire. Chapter 1. The Whisper of Becoming. The stories of Clara and Henry echo through time, bearing witness to an ageless truth. Desire flows from the infinite well of divine intention. When Clara lay down to sleep one night, her heart heavy with self-doubt, she carried within her a secret longing, a whisper of possibility she dared not fully embrace. Yet in her dreams, she witnessed herself bathed in golden light, while a voice as ancient as the stars spoke. Your desires are sacred messages, planted by the universe itself. Upon waking, Clara understood that her deepest yearnings were not random wishes, but divine invitations. Each desire pulsed with purpose. Each longing carried the seed of its own fulfillment. The universe had already set in motion the forces needed for manifestation. Her only task was to trust in this sacred dialogue. Henry's tale unfolds in a garden where wisdom bloomed alongside his carefully tended flowers. Each morning he would plant his seeds with unwavering faith, never questioning the delay between sowing and sprouting. While others grew impatient, demanding immediate results, Henry maintained his quiet certainty. He understood that beneath the soil's dark surface, miraculous transformations were already underway. As seasons turned, his garden exploded into magnificent color, each flower a testament to the power of patient trust. Henry's story teaches that desire's fulfillment often unfolds in divine timing, invisible to physical eyes but ever moving toward manifestation. These tales illuminate a profound truth. Every desire arising within you carries the blueprint of its own realization. When you feel drawn toward a particular dream, it signals that you are being called into alignment with something already created in the spiritual realm. Your task is not to force or struggle, but to recognize this holy conversation between your soul and the infinite. Doubt may whisper that your desires are too grand, too selfish, or beyond reach. Yet these very desires are sacred seeds, planted by the divine to guide you toward your highest expression. Like Clara, you may need only to sleep and wake to this truth. Like Henry, you may need to trust the unseen processes that turn seeds into gardens. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, choose one desire that lives in your heart. Rather than grasping at it or questioning its possibility, hold it gently in your consciousness. Feel its presence not as a distant wish, but as a living reality already taking form. Let this knowing be the last thought you carry into sleep, allowing your subconscious mind to commune with the infinite while you rest. In this sacred space between waking and dreaming, your desire transforms from mere wanting into divine certainty, pulsing with the power of inevitable manifestation. Chapter 2. The Hidden River. The eternal truth of abundance reveals itself through the experiences of those who have walked this path before you. Eleanor's journey mirrors what many discover. The fountain of prosperity springs not from external sources, but wells up from within. For years, Eleanor searched outside herself for the key to abundance. She chased opportunities, pursued endless strategies, and sought wealth in every external direction. Yet abundance remained elusive, always seeming just beyond her grasp. Until one morning, in the quiet stillness before dawn, she realized that her very approach had created a dam, blocking the natural flow of universal prosperity. In that moment of clarity, Eleanor understood that fear itself had become the barrier. Each worried thought about scarcity, each anxious calculation of what might be lacking, these were the stones and mortar building a wall against abundance's natural current. The simple yet powerful truth emerged. Abundance flows eternally, requiring only an open heart to receive it. Walter, the humble shopkeeper, embodied this wisdom through a practice both simple and sacred. Each evening, as he counted the day's earnings, he would hold each coin with reverence, blessing it not as mere currency, but as a physical manifestation of the universe's endless generosity. He understood that money was simply energy in motion, flowing through his store as naturally as breath through his body. As Walter maintained this practice, something remarkable unfolded. His small shop began to prosper in ways that defied conventional explanation. Customers appeared precisely when needed, supplies arrived at perfect moments, and opportunities manifested with surprising ease. He had tapped into the truth that abundance multiplies when recognized as the divine presence it truly is. These stories illuminate the path before you. Like Eleanor, you may have sought abundance through external means, not realizing that the very search implies separation from what already exists within. Like Walter, you hold the power to transform your relationship with prosperity through simple acts of reverence and gratitude. The ancient practice revealed in these teachings requires nothing more than your willing heart and conscious attention. Tonight, As you prepare for rest, pause to acknowledge each provision the day has offered. Begin with the simplest gifts: the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food that nourishes you. Whisper your gratitude for each blessing, feeling how this recognition begins to dissolve any dams built by fear or doubt. As you continue this practice, sense the unseen river of abundance stirring within you. With each expression of thanks, feel it growing stronger, readier to flow. This is not mere ritual. It is the activation of an eternal law. Gratitude opens the floodgates of infinite supply. Let this knowing be your last thought as you drift into sleep, trusting that the stream of abundance flows endlessly, requiring only your recognition to manifest in ever-expanding ways. Chapter 3. The Mirror of Belief. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so fundamental it shapes every moment of existence. Dorothy's tale reveals this eternal principle through her own awakening. Day after day, she struggled against circumstances that seemed immovable, pushing against walls that appeared solid and real. Yet transformation eluded her until she glimpsed the sacred law that governs all creation. The outer world serves as a faithful mirror, reflecting back the beliefs held within. Dorothy's revelation came when she noticed how her expectations of difficulty manifested as constant obstacles, while her rare moments of confidence brought unexpected ease. The world wasn't working against her. It was working with perfect precision, echoing back her innermost assumptions about life and herself. The universe operates with unwavering loyalty to this principle. Each thought you hold, each belief you nurture, projects outward like light cast upon water. The reflection cannot help but match its source. This is not punishment or reward, but the operation of cosmic law, as natural and reliable as gravity itself. Samuel's story illuminates this truth with stunning clarity. Rather than waiting for external proof of abundance and love to believe in their possibility, he chose to inhabit these qualities in his inner world first. Each morning, he would move through his day not as one hoping to become prosperous and beloved, but as one who already embodied these qualities. He walked differently, spoke differently, made decisions differently, not from a place of pretense, but from genuine inner knowing. He understood that the outer world had no choice but to conform to this inner reality. Within months, opportunities aligned with his inner vision, relationships reflected his self-worth, and prosperity flowed as naturally as breath. These teachings reveal that manifestation requires no force, no struggle. The universe already works in perfect response to your inner state. Your task is not to make things happen, but to align your inner world with what you wish to experience. The mirror cannot show what isn't present before it. This eternal truth offers both liberation and responsibility. Every circumstance you face represents a reflection of consciousness, not as punishment, but as faithful translation of inner to outer. Change the inner image, and the reflection must change. As sleep approaches tonight, lie quietly and allow yourself to fully embody the version of you that already lives the life you desire. Feel it not as future possibility, but as present reality. Experience how this version of you breathes, moves, thinks, and feels. Let this be your true self, knowing the mirror of life must reflect back this inner truth. The universe asks only that you be first what you wish to see. Chapter 4. The Lamp of Gratitude. In the ancient scrolls of wisdom, a truth emerges like sunrise over still waters. Gratitude holds power beyond measure, transforming both the one who gives thanks and the universe that receives it. Milton's tale speaks to this sacred principle. For years he carried the weight of past hurts, allowing bitterness to cast long shadows across his path. Each slight, each disappointment became another stone in a wall between himself and life's abundance. Yet transformation awaited in the simplest of practices. One evening, exhausted by the burden of resentment, Milton paused to appreciate the warmth of sunset on his face. In that moment, something shifted within him, a crack in the fortress of his discontent. With each subsequent day, he discovered that focusing on what he had rather than what he lacked began dissolving the shadows that had defined his world. The universe responds not to what we wish for, but to the energy we emanate. Gratitude generates a frequency that attracts its own likeness, multiplying reasons for thankfulness. It operates as both key and door, unlocking possibilities while simultaneously creating new pathways for abundance to flow. Josephine's story illuminates this principle with elegant simplicity. In her darkest hour, when despair threatened to overcome her spirit, she began a humble practice. Each night, before surrendering to sleep, she would write 3 blessings in a small notebook kept by her bed. At first, she struggled to find anything worthy of appreciation. Yet as days passed, she noticed subtle shifts, first in her perception, then in her circumstances. The 3 nightly blessings became a lamp, illuminating previously unseen gifts scattered throughout her days. As her gratitude grew stronger, life responded in kind. Opportunities appeared as if summoned by her thankful heart. Relationships deepened. Even challenges began arriving wrapped in wisdom rather than warfare. This ancient truth reveals itself. Gratitude serves not merely as response to good fortune, but as the very soil from which it grows. Like a garden tended with care, appreciation cultivates conditions for new blessings to bloom. Each thank you whispered to the universe returns multiplied, creating an endless cycle of giving and receiving. Tonight's practice. As you prepare for sleep, let your mind settle into stillness. In this quiet space, name 3 blessings from your day. Speak them silently, feeling each one illuminate your heart like a gentle flame. With each acknowledgement, allow your smile to deepen, knowing that gratitude's light grows stronger within you. Feel how this simple act transforms both your inner landscape and the universe's response to your presence. Chapter 5. The Door of Faith. In the quietness of dawn, Agnes stood before her goals like mountains too steep to climb. Each day she pushed against circumstances, willing them to bend to her determination. Yet the more she forced, the more resistance she encountered, until exhaustion left her wondering if her dreams would forever remain beyond reach. The ancient wisdom whispers, when we cease struggling against the current, we discover it carries us precisely where we need to go. Agnes learned this truth one morning when, depleted by endless striving, she simply sat in silence. In that moment of surrender, she felt an inexplicable peace wash over her. The universe, she realized, required not her force, but her faith. As she released her grip on how and when her desires should manifest, pathways began appearing that she could never have planned. Opportunities arose naturally, timing aligned perfectly, and what once seemed impossible unfolded with grace. Her surrender became her strength, her trust her most powerful tool. The law governing manifestation operates through faith, not force. Like water finding its course to the sea, your desires know their way to fulfillment. Your role is not to carve the path, but to trust the flow that carries you. Franklin's story echoes this wisdom. Each morning he would sit in his garden, offering his prayers to the universe without attachment to their method of answering. He understood that the how belonged to a wisdom greater than his own. When his business faced challenges rather than frantically seeking solutions, he maintained his practice of peaceful trust. One day, a stranger appeared with exactly the connection his business needed. Another time, a chance conversation revealed the perfect solution to a pressing problem. Each answer arrived through channels he could never have anticipated, yet always at the precise moment required. The invisible hand that guides all things responds not to desperate pushing but to quiet certainty. Faith opens doors that force cannot breach. It activates an ancient law. What you trust in the unseen realm must manifest in the visible world. Your role is to maintain unwavering faith while allowing the universe to determine the path of least resistance. Tonight's practice. As sleep approaches, find a comfortable position and take 3 deep, cleansing breaths. Choose one concern that has been weighing on your heart. As you exhale, release it completely, knowing that unseen love has already unlocked every door you need to pass through. Feel the peace of knowing that what seems impossible to you is already resolved in the realm of infinite possibility. Let your faith be the key that opens all doors. Chapter 6. The Seed of Imagination. In a small village by the sea, Beatrice tended her garden while memories of childhood surfaced like precious shells on the shore. As a young girl, she had spent countless hours crafting vivid pictures in her mind, of adventures, of discoveries, of wonders yet to be. The world called these mere daydreams, yet time revealed a deeper truth. Her imagination had been sketching the blueprints of her future all along. The universe operates through an eternal principle. The pictures held in mind become the patterns of tomorrow. Your imagination is not an escape from reality, but rather the sacred workshop where reality is first shaped. Each image you hold with conviction becomes a template that the universal force follows with perfect precision. Within your mind lies a creative power so vast that few dare to embrace its full potential. When you paint a scene in your consciousness, you are not merely dreaming. You are programming the cosmic matrix that undergirds all physical manifestation. The universe knows no difference between what you vividly imagine and what you experience as real, for both arise from the same source. Edward understood this truth when he stood upon barren hills, seeing in his mind's eye rows of thriving vines heavy with fruit. While others saw only dry earth, he walked through his imagined vineyard daily, feeling the leaves brush against his hands, smelling the ripening grapes, hearing the workers call to one another during harvest. He held this vision with such clarity that it became more real to him than the empty land before his eyes. Those around him spoke of drought, of poor soil, of impossible dreams. Yet Edward continued his inner walks through the vineyard of his imagination, knowing that the pictures in his mind were instructions to the universe. Months passed, then years, and gradually the physical world aligned with his vision. Where others had seen only wasteland, rows of healthy vines now stretched toward the horizon, their fruit sweet and abundant. This is the law that shapes all manifestation. Imagination precedes reality as surely as lightning precedes thunder. The images you hold in mind are not wishful thinking, but cosmic blueprints waiting to be built. Your inner vision is the architect's drawing, and the universe is the faithful builder that follows every detail. The practice of inner vision. As you prepare for sleep tonight, create a scene that represents your heart's desire. Walk through this inner landscape with all your senses alive. Feel the textures beneath your feet. Breathe in the aromas. Hear the sounds that surround you. Let every detail become sharp and clear, as though you are already there. Experience the joy and gratitude of your vision fulfilled. This is not mere fantasy. It is you speaking the first language of creation, giving clear instructions to the universal force that shapes all things. Hold this vision with the calm certainty that what you see within must, by cosmic law, emerge without. The world is taking careful notes, preparing to match your inner picture with outer reality. Chapter 7. The Music of Alignment. In the depths of winter, Harold lay confined to his bed, his body racked with an illness that had resisted all remedies. For years he had pushed against the currents of life, forcing his way through each challenge with gritted teeth and clenched fists. His strength had always been his shield, his determination a battering ram against obstacles. Yet now, stripped of the ability to fight, he discovered a truth that had waited patiently for his attention. As days stretched into weeks, Harold found himself surrendering to a different kind of strength. In the quiet of his room, he began to notice the gentle rhythm of his breath, the warmth of sunlight through his window, the peace that came with accepting each moment as it arrived. Gradually, his resistance melted away, replaced by a subtle harmony with life itself. To his amazement, his healing began not with struggle, but with surrender. When you resist what is, you create friction that drowns out the universe's natural melody. Your energy becomes discordant, clashing with the very forces that seek to support you. Yet when you align with the flow of life, you join an ancient symphony that has been playing since the dawn of time. Lillian understood this truth when scarcity haunted her thoughts like a persistent shadow. Each morning, she would wake to count her losses, her mind a chamber of echoing fears. But one day, she chose differently. Instead of dwelling on lack, she began to attune herself to simple pleasures, the taste of her morning tea, the sound of birds greeting the dawn, the feeling of warm water on her skin. As she shifted her attention from what was missing to what was present, something remarkable occurred. The more she appreciated life's small joys, the more abundant her world became. Opportunities appeared as naturally as flowers turning toward the sun. Resources flowed to her with the ease of a stream finding its path to the sea. She had discovered that abundance was not something to chase, but a frequency to match. This is the sacred truth. Alignment is not an achievement, but a letting go. It is the art of tuning your inner instrument to the key of the universe. When you resist life's movement, you create discord. When you align with its flow, you become part of its magnificent orchestration. The practice of harmonic alignment. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, choose one joy that lives in your heart. It might be as simple as the memory of a child's laughter, or the feeling of warm sunshine on your face. Let this joy become your inner song. Feel it resonating in your chest, humming through your being. Don't try to direct it or shape it. Simply let it play within you as you drift towards sleep. This is your lullaby of alignment, your gentle return to the universe's eternal melody. Chapter 8. The Courage of Surrender. Marjorie lived by her lists and schedules, holding each moment in an iron grip. Her garden flourished under strict routines, her home gleamed with military precision, and her days marched forward in perfect formation. Yet beneath this orchestrated perfection, an exhaustion grew in her soul. The weight of maintaining absolute control became a burden that dimmed her spirit's light. One morning, while pruning her roses, she noticed a wild vine that had woven itself through her carefully arranged flowers. Her first impulse was to tear it out, to restore her garden's precise order. But something made her pause. The vine's untamed beauty had created patterns more intricate than any she could have designed. In that moment, a truth whispered to her. Nature knows a perfection beyond human planning. When you release your grip on life, you open yourself to forces greater than your limited vision can comprehend. The universe operates with an intelligence that transcends your careful calculations. Your plans are like pebbles in a vast ocean of possibility. They make ripples, but the true power lies in the currents that carry them. Clarence discovered this wisdom through loss. As a merchant who once plotted every business move with mathematical precision, his world shattered when a storm destroyed his inventory. In the midst of this chaos, he found himself too exhausted to maintain his usual iron control. Surprisingly, as his grip loosened, unexpected doors opened. New partnerships emerged, better opportunities arose, and his business transformed in ways his careful plans could never have conceived. The release of control does not mean abandonment of action. Rather, it is an invitation to dance with life rather than wrestle it. When you surrender, you trade the exhaustion of forcing for the exhilaration of flowing. Your energy, once spent on resistance, becomes available for receiving. This surrender is not weakness, but wisdom. It is the recognition that you are part of a greater movement, a cosmic choreography that knows the perfect timing for each unfolding. Just as a leaf does not resist the wind that carries it, your spirit finds freedom in releasing the illusion of control. The practice of sacred surrender. As night draws near, lie down and open your palms toward the ceiling. Feel the gentle release as your muscles soften, as your breath deepens. With each exhale, let go of another thread of control. Then, speaking from this place of sweet release, whisper these words: "All is unfolding for me." Let this truth carry you into peaceful rest, knowing that the universe's wisdom far exceeds your plans. Chapter 9. The Language of Joy. In a small mountain village, Rosalind carried grief like a heavy cloak, wrapping herself in memories of what was lost. Each morning she would wake to count her sorrows, treating them as familiar companions. The weight of her sadness became a lens through which she viewed the world, coloring everything in muted shades. Yet one dawn, watching sunlight pierce through morning mist, she witnessed something that would transform her understanding. A bird, soaked from rain, perched on a branch and began to sing, not after shaking off the water, not after the sun had dried its feathers, but in that moment of dampness and chill. The bird's song declared joy not as a response to conditions, but as a choice made regardless of circumstances. You possess this same power of declaration. Joy is not a result, but a decision, not an effect, but a cause. When you choose joy as your native tongue, the universe cannot help but respond in kind. It is the highest vibration, the clearest signal you can send into the vastness of creation. Victor understood this truth. Living in times of scarcity, he chose laughter as his daily bread. While others spoke of lack, he shared stories of abundance. While they counted losses, he celebrated small victories. Each morning he stood before his mirror and laughed, not at anything in particular, but at the sheer miracle of existence. At first, neighbors thought him touched by madness, but as weeks passed into months, they noticed how fortune seemed to follow in his wake. His garden yielded abundant crops despite poor soil. Opportunities found him as if guided by an invisible hand. Even his health remained robust while others faltered. Most remarkably, joy began to spark in those around him, as if his laughter had lit a flame that spread from heart to heart. The universe speaks many languages: gratitude, faith, love, but joy resonates at the highest frequency. It cuts through the static of doubt and fear, broadcasting your intentions with crystal clarity. When you choose joy, you align with the natural state of the universe, which is ever expanding, ever creating, ever celebrating its own existence. This joy is not dependent on external conditions. It wells up from within as a pure expression of your divine nature. Like a sun that shines regardless of clouds, your joy can radiate through any circumstance. It becomes your signature, your stamp upon the universal substance from which all manifestation springs. The practice of joy's declaration. As you prepare for sleep tonight, allow a gentle smile to touch your lips. Let it arise naturally, as if you have already received everything your heart desires. Feel the warmth of this smile spreading through your body, a quiet joy illuminating you from within. Rest in this vibration, knowing it speaks louder than words to the listening universe. Let joy be the last note you sound as you drift into dreams, a declaration of trust in life's endless capacity for blessing. Chapter 10. The Circle of Receiving. In a quiet valley between ancient hills lived a man named Harrison, whose hands were calloused from endless giving, but whose heart was closed to receiving. When neighbors brought food to his door, he turned them away. When praise was offered for his work, he dismissed it. When opportunities for aid appeared, he insisted others needed it more. This resistance to receiving stemmed from a belief buried deep within, that acceptance meant weakness, that worthiness must be earned through perpetual sacrifice. Harrison gave and gave until his well ran dry, never understanding that the universe's abundance requires both the inhale and exhale of energy. The flow of life moves in perfect circles. Just as the ocean receives the rain it once gave to the sky, all energy must complete its circuit. When you refuse to receive, you create a dam in the natural flow of abundance. Your resistance doesn't preserve resources for others. It disrupts the very cycle that would multiply blessings for all. Winifred, who lived in the same valley, embodied a different wisdom. When someone offered help, she accepted with grace and gratitude. When a gift arrived, she received it with joy. Her acceptance wasn't greed, but recognition of the divine dance of giving and receiving. Through her openness, she became a channel through which abundance could flow freely. As her acceptance grew, so did the flow of gifts in her life. Each gracious yes seemed to unlock new doors of possibility. Her garden overflowed because she accepted seeds from travelers. Her home became a gathering place because she welcomed others' contributions. Her life grew rich with friendship because she allowed others the joy of giving to her. The universe operates through continuous circulation. Like breath itself, the flow of abundance requires both giving and receiving. When you block one, you inhibit both. Your acceptance of gifts, help, and blessings isn't taking from the universe. It's participating in its natural rhythm. To refuse a gift is to deny the giver their own participation in this sacred exchange. When you accept graciously, you complete the circuit of joy that begins in the giver's heart. Your receiving becomes another form of giving, allowing others to experience the bliss of generosity. The practice of sacred receiving. As your eyes close, imagine yourself graciously opening hands, allowing love and blessing to pour into you endlessly. Part 2. The Expansion of Faith. Chapter 11. The Horizon Within. Along a misty coastline walked Florence, her eyes forever fixed on distant shores. Each morning she climbed the highest cliff, straining to glimpse what lay beyond the curve of the earth. Her dreams were filled with far-off places, yet her feet remained rooted to familiar ground. She believed freedom lay somewhere over those waves, in lands she had yet to reach. Day after day she stood at her window, yearning for distant adventures while overlooking the vast universe that lived within her own heart. Her search for expansion in the physical world had blinded her to the infinite space that resided in her own being. Until one morning, as she watched the sun rise over the waters, a sudden wisdom washed over her like the tide below. The horizon she sought was not a line where sea meets sky, but the boundless realm within her own consciousness. In that moment of recognition, she closed her eyes and felt an expanse greater than any ocean unfold inside her chest. The truth reveals itself with elegant simplicity. The outer world can only reflect the dimensions we first create within. When you compress your inner space through doubt and limitation, the physical world appears equally confined. But when you allow your inner realm to expand without bounds, reality reshapes itself to match your infinite nature. Ambrose understood this principle through lived experience. For years he felt trapped by circumstances, unable to travel beyond his small village. Yet rather than fight against these limitations, he began to cultivate an inner sense of boundless freedom. In his meditation, he would soar over mountains and glide across seas. He nurtured this feeling of limitless movement within his heart until it became more real than his physical constraints. Within months, opportunities for travel appeared as if conjured from thin air. An unexpected inheritance, an invitation to teach abroad, chances to explore lands he had only visited in his inner journeys. The external freedom manifested naturally once he had established it in his consciousness. This principle extends beyond physical travel into every arena of life. The boundaries you perceive in your outer experience are reflections of the borders you maintain within. Your inner landscape becomes the template for your manifest reality. When you expand the horizons of your consciousness, the universe conspires to match your new dimensions. Like a drop of water containing the entire ocean, your inner world holds all possibility. The vastness you seek already exists within you, waiting to be recognized. When you cease straining to see distant shores and instead explore the infinite space in your own heart, you discover that all horizons begin within. The practice of inner expansion. Tonight, close your eyes and expand inward, picturing endless horizons living quietly in your chest. Chapter 12. The Bridge of Persistence. In the heart of an ancient city, Lucille kept a garden of half-tended dreams. She would plant seeds of intention with great enthusiasm, only to abandon them at the first sign of frost or drought. Her desires, though pure, withered from lack of sustained attention. She moved from one aspiration to another, leaving behind a trail of what might have been. The universe honors not the intensity of wanting, but the steadiness of attention. Each dream you hold carries within it a timing all its own, a natural rhythm of unfoldment that asks only for your patient presence. When you scatter your focus, moving restlessly from one wish to another, you interrupt the delicate process of manifestation. Consider how the ocean shapes the shore, not through sporadic waves, but through the endless rhythm of its tides. This same law governs the realization of your deepest longings. Persistence is not forced action, but sustained awareness. A quiet confidence that holds steady through both storm and calm. Edwin understood this truth in the solitude of his workshop. Night after night, he refined his creations while others slept. The townspeople dismissed his work as folly, yet he continued, guided by an inner knowing that transcended their doubt. He did not push against time, but moved with it, allowing each setback to refine rather than discourage him. Months turned to years, and gradually the world began to recognize what his persistence had wrought. His inventions, born of steady dedication, brought forth not only material wealth, but a deeper satisfaction. The knowledge that he had honored his vision through completion. This wisdom echoes through the ages. What you attend to grows. Your consistent focus creates an energy field around your desires, drawing to you the circumstances and opportunities needed for their fulfillment. Like water wearing away stone, persistence reshapes what appears immovable. The law of attraction responds not to intermittent signals but to sustained frequency. When you maintain unwavering attention on your chosen path, the universe aligns its forces with your direction. This is not blind repetition, but conscious continuation, each step taken with renewed faith in the unseen order of things. You need not strain or struggle. Simply hold steady in your knowing, like a lighthouse whose beam remains constant through changing weather. Let your persistence be gentle but unwavering, a quiet affirmation that what you seek is already moving toward you. The practice of steady attention. As you drift off, feel persistence as steady footsteps, walking calmly toward your assured promise. Chapter 13. The Vessel of Trust. In a bustling marketplace, Pearl clutched her coins with trembling fingers, fear casting shadows across her thoughts. Each gain felt temporary, each blessing seemed poised to slip away. She lived in constant anxiety that her good fortune would vanish like morning mist, and this very fear became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Trust is the invisible vessel that holds all abundance. When you grasp too tightly, you create tiny fractures through which blessings seep away. The universe moves with perfect precision, but your doubt disturbs its natural flow. Each worried thought sends ripples through the field of possibility, contracting what could naturally expand. The law of attraction responds not to your desires alone, but to the quality of trust you maintain. When you live in fear of loss, you broadcast a frequency of lack into the universe. This signal attracts experiences that match your anxiety, creating a cycle that confirms your deepest concerns. Leonard understood this principle in the depths of his being. While others frantically chased security, he moved with quiet certainty through his days. He treated his prosperity not as a fragile possession, but as a natural state of being. His business partnerships flourished not because he controlled them, but because he trusted their organic evolution. As seasons turned, Leonard's influence grew. Those around him marveled at how opportunities seemed to flow effortlessly in his direction. Yet he knew the secret lay not in acquiring more, but in trusting deeply. His very presence became a vessel of abundance, attracting wealth, wisdom, and wonderful connections without strain. This ancient truth whispers still. Trust expands your vessel. When you release the grip of fear, you allow your container of good to grow naturally. Like a river that widens its banks through gentle persistence, your capacity to receive increases through steady trust. Your relationship with abundance mirrors your relationship with the universe itself. When you trust the infinite source, you become an open channel through which blessings flow freely. This trust is not naive optimism, but profound understanding that you are supported by universal laws that never fail. Fear constricts, trust expands. Every moment you choose trust over anxiety, your vessel grows stronger, deeper, more capable of holding the good that seeks to reach you. Your trust becomes an invitation to the universe, signaling your readiness to receive more. The practice of sacred trust. Rest tonight, affirming softly, "My life is a trusted vessel overflowing with goodness." Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Light of Intention. In the heart of an ancient valley, Sylvia wandered through her days like scattered leaves in the wind. Though blessed with talents and opportunities, her energies dispersed in countless directions, leaving her exhausted yet unfulfilled. Her life resembled a lamp whose light spread thin, illuminating everything dimly rather than focusing its radiance with purpose. Within you dwells the same power that guides stars in their courses, the power of pure intention. When your thoughts drift like clouds across the sky, your energy dissipates into the vast expanse of possibility. But when you gather your thoughts into one clear beam of intention, the universe responds with remarkable precision. Just as sunlight, focused through a lens, concentrates its power into a single point of transformative energy, your intention becomes a beacon that draws forth corresponding circumstances. This is not mere wishful thinking, but the operation of an eternal law. Energy flows where intention goes. The story of Ernest exemplifies this timeless truth. Having witnessed the scattered results of divided focus, he chose to direct his entire being toward one pure intention. He sought not to control the path, but to hold steadfast to his chosen direction. With each passing day, seemingly unrelated events began to align themselves like iron filings around a magnet. Doors opened that he never knew existed. People appeared bearing exactly what he needed. Even apparent setbacks revealed themselves as necessary detours leading to his goal. The universe, responding to his unwavering signal, orchestrated circumstances with an intelligence far beyond his own planning. This ancient wisdom speaks through the ages. Intention is not forcing, but focusing. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with one clear purpose, you create a channel through which universal energy naturally flows. Like water, finding its course downhill, life arranges itself to support your focused intention. Your power lies not in controlling every detail, but in maintaining clarity of purpose. Each morning as you wake, each evening as you rest, your intention sets the compass of your journey. The universe asks only for this clarity, this steady signal amid the noise of daily life. Think of intention as light itself, pure, direct, and illuminating. It needs no force, no strain, no desperate pleading. It requires only your consistent choice to keep its beam focused and clear. Everything else flows from this central point of clarity. The practice of sacred intention. Tonight, place a simple intention in your heart and see its light shine endlessly ahead. Chapter 15. The Garden of Patience. In a small village among rolling hills, Norma spent her days in restless agitation. Each morning she would inspect her garden, pulling at stems to hasten growth, only to find withered plants and damaged roots. Her impatience extended beyond her garden. She rushed through relationships, careers, and opportunities, leaving a wake of unfulfilled potential. The universe operates on its own divine timeline, moving with a wisdom that transcends human urgency. When you attempt to force the natural rhythm of manifestation, you create resistance to the very blessings attempting to reach you. Each desire carries within it the perfect timing of its own unfolding. Like seeds beneath winter soil, your deepest wishes require a season of quiet gestation. During this sacred interval, invisible forces arrange circumstances, align paths, and prepare the perfect conditions for emergence. Your role is not to dig up the seed repeatedly to check its progress, but to maintain unwavering faith in the natural process of growth. Wilbur understood this truth through years of tending his vineyard. Where others hastily grafted vines for quick yields, he took time to prepare the soil, study the weather patterns, and honor the cycles of growth. His patience was not passive waiting, but active trust in the intelligence of timing. As seasons passed, his vines grew strong and deep, producing fruits of exceptional quality that commanded the highest prices in the market. This wisdom echoes through the ages. Patience is not the absence of action, but the presence of trust. When you release the need for immediate results, you allow the universe to work in ways far beyond your limited planning. Your desires are heard the moment they arise. The delay you perceive is merely the gap between planting and harvesting. Think of patience as the soil itself, rich, dark, and fertile with possibility. Within its depths, miraculous transformations occur unseen. The seed doesn't question whether it will become a flower. It simply embraces the darkness, knowing that each moment of waiting carries it closer to blooming. Your desires are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of the infinite. Each carries within it a divine timing that, when honored, produces results far greater than forced growth could achieve. The universe asks only that you trust this process, knowing that what is meant for you cannot miss you. Patience transforms waiting from punishment to privilege. It is the art of holding your desires tenderly while allowing the greater wisdom of universal timing to orchestrate their perfect unfoldment. In this sacred space of trust, miracles take root and flourish. The practice of divine timing. Rest, feeling each desire as a seed safely buried, growing unseen but surely. Chapter 16. The Breath of Stillness. In the bustling marketplace of a desert city, Clyde moved like a whirlwind through his days. His mind raced endlessly with plans and schemes, each thought colliding with the next in a storm of mental activity. Though his business flourished on the surface, opportunities slipped past unnoticed, and prosperity felt shallow, like water running through cupped hands. Through your own experience, you have witnessed how the noise of constant motion drowns the whispers of intuition. When the mind churns ceaselessly, it creates a veil between you and the subtle guidance of the universe. This veil grows thicker with each passing moment of unrest, until the very abundance you seek becomes obscured by the fog of your own making. The universe speaks in silence. Its language is the space between thoughts, the pause between breaths, the stillness that cradles creation itself. Within this sacred quiet lies a power greater than all action, the power of pure being. Here, in the depths of stillness, the law of attraction operates with perfect clarity, unhindered by the static of anxious thinking. Matilda, a humble weaver, discovered this truth in her evening ritual. Each night, as the world rushed by outside her window, she would sit quietly, following only the rhythm of her breath. At first, her mind resisted, clinging to worries about unsold tapestries and mounting debts. Yet, as she persisted in her practice, something remarkable began to unfold. In the space of her silence, solutions arose effortlessly. Customers appeared as if guided by an unseen hand. Her fingers moved with new inspiration at the loom, creating patterns that seemed to flow from the stillness itself. Without struggling or straining, her life began to reflect the peace she cultivated within. This ancient wisdom reveals that stillness is not empty. It is filled with creative power. When you quiet the endless chatter of thought, you tune into the frequency of pure potential. Here, in this sacred space, the law of attraction works through you with perfect precision, unmarred by doubt or resistance. Think of your mind as a pool of water. When agitated, it reflects nothing clearly. But as it grows still, it becomes a perfect mirror, reflecting the sky above and revealing depths below. So too does your consciousness in stillness reflect the abundance of the universe and reveal the treasures waiting within your own being. The silence you cultivate becomes a magnetic force, drawing to you that which resonates with your deepest truth. Not through effort or force, but through the simple power of undisturbed awareness, your desires find their way to manifestation. This is the paradox of stillness. In doing nothing, everything is accomplished. The practice of sacred stillness. Tonight, listen to your breath gently, drifting into stillness like a river flowing inward. Chapter 17. The Crown of Worthiness. In a small village by the sea, Genevieve walked with eyes cast down, shoulders bent as if bearing an invisible weight. Though skilled in her craft of creating intricate jewelry, she priced her work far below its value, turned away compliments, and lived in a state of constant apology for taking up space in the world. Each morning, as she opened her modest shop, she would whisper silent prayers that customers might find her worthy of their time. Yet the universe never answers prayers of unworthiness. It can only reflect back the value we claim for ourselves. The truth lies written in the very fabric of creation. Worthiness is not earned but inherent. You were born crowned with divine right to abundance. This crown cannot be given or taken away. It can only be recognized or denied. When you stand in the full knowing of your worth, the universe bows in recognition. Ralph, a humble potter, discovered this truth one moonlit night. For years, his masterful vessels sold for copper when they deserved gold. But in a moment of quiet revelation, he understood. He had been wearing a crown all along, yet living like a beggar. The next morning, he raised his prices to match his true worth. His hands shaped clay with new authority, and his work began attracting collectors who recognized its value. This transformation came not from learning new skills or gaining approval, but from allowing his inner light to shine, undiminished. The universe could finally match his frequency of self-worth with corresponding opportunities. You may have walked through life believing you must prove your worth through endless achievement or sacrifice. Yet worth flows through you as naturally as breath. It sparkles in your eyes, beats in your heart, and sings in your spirit. No external validation can increase it, and no rejection can diminish it. When you deny your worth, you create resistance to the very abundance trying to reach you. Like a king refusing to sit upon his throne, you remain in self-imposed exile from your natural state of prosperity. The universe cannot override this choice. It must wait patiently for you to reclaim your crown. The practice of divine recognition. As sleep approaches tonight, place your hands upon your heart and repeat with quiet certainty, I am worthy, crowned already, with all I desire. Chapter 18. The Fire of Desire. In a quiet village beneath ancient mountains, Opal carried a heavy shame. Each time her heart stirred with longing for something greater, she would quickly stamp out the ember, fearing it marked her as selfish or ungrateful. She had learned early to quiet her dreams, to make herself small, to accept less than what her soul whispered was possible. Yet desire flows as naturally as rivers to the sea. It cannot be denied without denying life itself. The universe plants seeds of longing in your heart not to torment you, but to guide you toward your highest expression. These sacred flames illuminate the path to your destiny. When you suppress desire, you dim the light meant to lead you home. Your longings are not random wishes, but divine messages encoded in the language of the heart. They whisper of possibilities already waiting in the quantum field, requiring only your permission to manifest. Gilbert understood this truth. In his small attic room, he would sit for hours before his easel, allowing his passion for art to burn bright and clear. Others cautioned him to be practical, to dim his dreams to match their expectations. But Gilbert recognized his desire as a holy flame, and he tended it faithfully. He began by simply honoring the fire within, spending every free moment painting, studying techniques, immersing himself in color and form. He didn't deny his longing for recognition, for the chance to share his vision with the world. Instead, he let that desire fuel his dedication. The universe responded to his authentic embrace of passion. First came small showings in local cafes, then regional galleries took notice. The flame grew stronger, attracting collectors and critics who resonated with its pure intensity. Within years, his work graced museums worldwide, not because he had forced it, but because he had allowed his holy fire to burn undiminished. This truth awaits your recognition. Desire is not the enemy of spiritual growth, but its catalyst. The universe plants seeds of longing in your heart as signals of what is already yours to claim. When you honor these sacred flames instead of smothering them, they become beacons lighting your way to manifestation. Your desires are not random wishes, but divine coordinates, each one precisely calibrated to guide you toward your highest good. The longing you feel is life itself reaching toward greater expression through you. When you embrace desire as holy, you align with the creative force that shapes worlds. The practice of sacred flame. Rest tonight, seeing desire as golden fire in your heart that warms and guides every step. Chapter 19. The Golden Thread. In the bustling marketplace of life, Ida moved through her days seeing only scattered moments, disconnected events that seemed to hold no deeper meaning. Each circumstance appeared isolated: a missed train, an unexpected conversation, a wrong turn that led nowhere. She lived as many do, treating life as a series of random happenings without pattern or purpose. The universe speaks in patterns, weaving together moments that appear separate into a tapestry of perfect design. What seems like coincidence to the untrained eye reveals itself as divine orchestration to those who understand the sacred art of paying attention. One morning, Ida noticed something unusual. The book she had been thinking of reading fell from a shelf as she passed. Later that day, a stranger mentioned the same book in conversation. That evening, she found a forgotten copy in her grandmother's chest. These were not mere coincidences, but golden threads of meaning, winking at her from behind the veil of ordinary reality. As she began to notice these subtle connections, more appeared. Each synchronicity served as a gentle confirmation that an invisible hand was guiding her path. What had once seemed like chaos revealed itself as choreography, each moment precisely placed to lead her forward. Howard understood this secret language of the universe. When he lost his position at the firm, instead of despairing, he watched for signs. A chance meeting led to a conversation about his true passion. A newspaper article caught his eye, highlighting an opportunity he would have missed in his old role. Following these golden threads, trusting their guidance, he found himself led to work that fulfilled him deeply, surrounded by kindred spirits who valued his gifts. The universe constantly extends these threads of grace, these subtle invitations to follow a higher path. What appears as a chance to the sleeping mind reveals itself as destiny to the awakened heart. Each synchronicity serves as a reminder that you walk in a living universe that responds to your consciousness, arranging circumstances for your highest good. These golden threads weave through every life, though few pause to notice their shimmer. They appear as repeated numbers, meaningful encounters, books that fall open to exactly the right page, songs that answer unspoken questions. They whisper that you are seen, supported, guided by intelligence greater than your own. To recognize these sacred connections requires only that you soften your gaze and open your heart to possibility. When you trust the weaving of these golden threads, life reveals its perfect pattern. Every seeming obstacle transforms into a doorway, Every apparent delay unfolds as divine timing. The practice of the golden thread. As you close your eyes, whisper, "I trust life's golden thread, linking me to every blessing." Chapter 20. The Fountain of Overflow. In a small village among rolling hills, Fanny spent her days counting and recounting her provisions, haunted by the specter of lack. Each morsel she stored away carried the weight of her fear. Her cupboards, though full, could never satisfy the gnawing anxiety that tomorrow might bring emptiness. The universe operates not through limitation, but through eternal abundance. Like a fountain whose source springs from unseen depths, supply flows ceaselessly for those who align with its nature. Yet many stand before this fountain holding thimbles, believing that is all they deserve or can receive. Fanny's transformation began when she witnessed a curious thing. The more tightly she clutched her resources, the more they seemed to slip away. But in moments when she shared freely, unexpected gifts arrived at her door. A neighbor bringing fresh bread, a forgotten debt repaid, an opportunity arising from nowhere. These experiences slowly awakened her to a profound truth: abundance multiplies through circulation. Chester embodied this wisdom naturally. Though he began with little, he gave generously of what he had: his time, his skills, his encouragement. He treated each person as though they carried unlimited potential, and soon his small repair shop became a hub of community prosperity. The more value he offered, the more return to him multiplied. His life demonstrated that generosity opens the floodgates of infinite supply. Where scarcity consciousness sees limitation, abundance consciousness recognizes the eternal flow of good. Like a fountain that never runs dry, the universe's capacity to provide remains inexhaustible. Your task is not to generate abundance, but to align with its ever-present stream. The fountain of plenty springs eternal, asking only that you position yourself to receive. When you release the grip of scarcity thinking, you discover that life itself operates through overflow. Trees produce more fruit than they need. Seeds multiply beyond counting. The sun pours forth endless light. This is the natural state of the universe, not careful rationing, but lavish giving. The illusion of scarcity dissolves when you recognize that supply flows from an infinite source. Just as a fountain's water cycles endlessly, abundance circulates through your life when you trust its perpetual nature. Every blessing received becomes a channel for greater good to flow. Tonight, picture yourself standing under a fountain, endlessly streaming all good things, never ending. Part 3. The Radiance of Fulfillment. Chapter 21. The Silent Magnet. Once there lived a woman named Abigail who moved through life like a shadow, believing she needed to shout to be heard, to push to be seen. Each day she exhausted herself trying to catch the world's attention, yet found herself increasingly invisible. Her efforts to be noticed only seemed to drive away the very recognition she sought. You too may have felt this way, straining to make life notice you, to draw in the experiences you desire. Yet the universe responds not to volume, but to vibration. When you cease the desperate reaching, a profound magnetic force awakens within you. The law of attraction operates with greatest power in quietude, like a deep river that moves silently yet carries massive ships. Your calm certainty generates a force far greater than any amount of noise or struggle. When Abigail finally understood this, she stopped trying to make things happen. Instead, she cultivated a peaceful knowing that what she desired was already flowing toward her. Soon, opportunities and connections naturally gravitated her way, drawn by the quiet strength of her certainty. Luther's story mirrors this truth. His farm's produce remained unsold as he frantically sought buyers, making endless calls and posting countless signs. Exhausted, he finally surrendered the struggle. He simply knew, with unshakable faith, that the right buyers would come. Within days, restaurants and markets began calling him, drawn by an unseen force to his harvest. This teaches a vital principle. The magnetic power of attraction strengthens in stillness. When desire matures into quiet knowing, you no longer chase, you attract. Like a magnet that moves metal without sound or strain, your aligned consciousness draws your good to you effortlessly. The universe responds not to desperation, but to resonance. When you shift from anxious wanting to peaceful certainty, you activate an irresistible attractive force. This is not passive waiting, but active allowing. It is the power of being rather than doing, of knowing rather than hoping. Think of how a magnet works. It doesn't strain or struggle, yet metal objects naturally move toward it. This is how the law of attraction operates through you when you maintain calm certainty. Your quiet confidence becomes a magnetic field, drawing to you all that aligns with your inner knowing. Rest tonight, imagining yourself as a silent magnet, pulling blessings with ease as you breathe in peace. Chapter 22. The Embrace of Love. In a small village among ancient hills lived Mabel, a woman who walked through life as though apologizing for her existence. She carried her talents like burdens, afraid that sharing them would invite judgment. Each mirror reflected not her beauty, but her perceived flaws, and every interaction became an exercise in bracing for rejection. You may recognize this dance, the constant self-editing, the hesitation before speaking your truth, the quiet way you sometimes dim your light. Yet within this very moment lies a sacred teaching that has echoed through centuries. Love, beginning with self-acceptance, is the original frequency of the universe. When Mabel finally understood this truth, she stopped seeking approval from the outer world and turned instead to nurturing her own heart. As she learned to embrace her perceived imperfections, something mysterious began to unfold. The very qualities she had hidden became magnetic, drawing others who recognize their own truth in her authenticity. This mirrors the eternal law. What you genuinely accept within yourself creates a resonance that the universe must match. Like calls to like, and self-love becomes a beacon that attracts more reasons to love. Cornelius discovered this when illness left visible scars on his face. Initially, he hid from the world, ashamed of his altered appearance. But one morning, standing before his mirror, he began a practice that would transform his life. He blessed each scar as a mark of survival, each line as evidence of his journey. As his heart softened toward himself, the world responded in kind. A famous artist asked to paint his portrait, celebrating the unique geography of his face. A support group formed around him, drawn by his courage to embrace his whole self. What he had viewed as flaws became the very bridge connecting him to deeper relationships. This reveals the subtle power of self-love. It doesn't just change how you see yourself. It alters how the universe responds to you. When you cease fighting against yourself, you align with the original frequency of creation. This alignment opens doors that no amount of external seeking could unlock. Self-acceptance isn't mere tolerance of who you are. It is recognition of your inherent divinity. Every aspect of you, even those parts you've learned to judge, carries a sacred purpose. As you embrace your whole self, you tune into the frequency of unconditional love, which is the very force that holds galaxies together. As you sleep, embrace yourself inwardly with love, whispering, "I am always enough." Chapter 23. The Radiant Path. In the bustling marketplace of life, Esther wandered through a maze of competing voices. Each morning brought new advice, fresh strategies, and countless directions. She collected wisdom like trinkets until her mind became a crowded storehouse of contradicting truths. The more knowledge she gathered, the deeper her confusion grew, until all paths seemed to lead nowhere. You know this labyrinth well. The endless options, the conflicting guidance, the paralyzing uncertainty of which way to turn. Yet within this very maze lies an eternal truth. Clarity does not come from gathering more external light, but from allowing your inner radiance to shine. When Esther finally stilled her desperate searching, she discovered a gentle glow within her heart. This light spoke not in shouts, but whispers, not in complex riddles, but simple knowing. As she learned to trust this inner illumination, the fog of confusion naturally dissolved. Each step became obvious, not because she could see the entire journey, but because the next stone always lit up beneath her feet. The universe operates through this law of inner clarity. Like a lighthouse cutting through storm clouds, your inner knowing already holds the coordinates to every treasure awaiting you. External chaos cannot dim this light unless you forget to look within. Horace understood this when his business faced countless decisions and mounting pressure. While others rushed to consultants and trend reports, he began each morning in silence, allowing his inner light to reveal the next step. What seemed like madness to others, declining profitable partnerships that didn't feel aligned, investing in projects that called to his heart, proved to be divine guidance. His competition chased every opportunity, spreading themselves thin across countless ventures. But Horace followed only the path illuminated by his inner clarity. Soon, his focused choices created a business that not only prospered, but fulfilled his deepest purpose. What appeared as risk to others was simply trust in his inner light. This shows us that clarity is not something to chase, but to allow. It rises naturally when you stop drowning its soft voice with external noise. Your inner light knows the perfect path to every dream planted within your heart. It requires no validation from others, no complex strategies, no endless research. It simply asks for your trust. Tonight, picture your path paved with light, guiding you to every treasure of your heart. Chapter 24. The Rhythm of Trust. Along a winding path through ancient hills walked Cora, her steps heavy with impatience. Each morning she would check for signs of her dreams manifesting, and each evening she would sink into disappointment. The fruit remained green on the vine, the doors stayed firmly shut, the letters of acceptance never arrived. Time seemed to mock her desires, moving too slowly when she yearned for progress, racing past when she needed more preparation. You may recognize this dance with time, the feeling that your blessings lag behind your readiness, that the universe's clock runs counter to your own. Yet in this very tension lies a sacred truth. Manifestation moves to a rhythm far more intricate than human timing. Just as nature unfolds each blossom according to an unseen schedule, your desires mature in perfect accordance with universal law. This divine timing operates not by the tick of mechanical clocks, but by the pulse of cosmic wisdom. It knows when the soil of your consciousness is fertile enough to sustain the harvest you seek. It understands which experiences must precede your blessing to ensure its longevity. When Cora finally surrendered her grip on timing, she noticed a subtle rhythm underlying every unfolding in her life. Opportunities that seemed delayed had actually been gathering momentum behind the scenes. What looked like obstacles were really preparations, strengthening her to receive what was coming. Silas embodied this wisdom when building his dream. While others rushed to launch businesses, he listened to the quiet nudges of divine timing. He noticed how each delay brought exactly what his vision needed, the right connections appearing precisely when his foundation was ready, the perfect location becoming available only after he had gained crucial experience. What appeared as waiting became a sacred dance with the universe. His competitors hurried to market, only to stumble from lack of preparation. But Silas moved in harmony with a deeper rhythm. When his moment arrived, everything flowed with an ease that could only come from perfect timing. This reveals the mystery of manifestation's cadence. It operates not by our demands, but through an intelligence that orchestrates all elements for optimal fulfillment. Your role is not to push the river, but to attune yourself to its flow. The very thing you await may be waiting for you to align with its perfect moment of arrival. Just as a symphony requires precise timing between all instruments, your manifestation conducts countless unseen elements into harmony. Trust that the universal conductor knows the exact moment each note should sound. Before drifting into dreams, imagine your heart beating as the rhythm of divine timing, perfectly steady. Chapter 25. The Jewel Within. In a bustling marketplace, Irene spent years collecting precious stones and ornate treasures, believing their sparkle would fill the emptiness she felt within. Her home became a vault of beautiful objects, yet each new acquisition brought only fleeting satisfaction. The more she gathered, the more the void seemed to grow. You, too, may have sought fulfillment in external treasures, measuring your worth through possessions or achievements. Yet the universe whispers an ancient truth. All outer abundance merely reflects the divine light already kindled within you. This light, your inner jewel, radiates with unique brilliance. It carries the essence of your gifts, your purpose, your infinite potential. While the world may tempt you to seek validation through external measures, true wealth begins with recognizing this internal radiance. Irene's awakening came during a quiet moment when, surrounded by her collected treasures, she caught a glimpse of something far more precious, the glow of her own divine nature. In that instant, she understood that no external gem could outshine the light of her authentic self. This truth found perfect expression through Amos, whose hands shaped raw materials into works of profound beauty. For years he had doubted his abilities, seeking validation through imitating others' styles. But when he finally acknowledged his inner creative force, that unique jewel of self-expression, his work transformed. Each piece began carrying the unmistakable signature of his authentic vision. Soon, collectors sought his creations not for their monetary value, but for the genuine spirit they embodied. His inner recognition had magnetized outer celebration, proving that when you honor your internal light, the world responds in kind. The law operates with perfect precision. Your outer world must mirror your inner knowing. When you polish the jewel of your divine nature through self-acceptance, authentic expression, and recognition of your inherent worth, external circumstances align to reflect this inner radiance. Every soul carries this sacred light, though many forget its presence beneath layers of doubt or unworthiness. Your task is not to create this light, but to remember it, to clear away whatever dims its natural brilliance. Tonight, close your eyes and picture a radiant jewel inside your chest, always shining, never dim. Chapter 26. The Sacred Echo. In the quiet depths of a moonlit valley, Martha knelt each evening before her window, sending prayers into the vastness. Night after night, her whispers drifted upward, yet she wondered if they dissolved into nothingness. The emptiness that followed her devotions left her questioning whether any force truly listened to her heart's yearnings. The universe operates through an eternal law of reflection. Every thought released into its infinite expanse must, by its very nature, return to its source. This truth remains unchanged since time immemorial. The cosmos echoes back what we send forth, multiplied and magnified through its vast chambers. Martha continued her practice, unaware that each prayer created ripples in the unseen fabric of existence. Then one morning, as sunlight painted her room in gold, she noticed small changes beginning to unfold. An unexpected letter arrived, bearing opportunity. A chance encounter led to a cherished friendship. A long-forgotten dream suddenly found its path to reality. These were not mere coincidences, but the echoes of her faithful prayers returning home. This mirrors an ageless truth. The universe holds every whispered hope in its infinite memory. Your thoughts do not vanish into void. They travel through unseen dimensions, gathering power before returning as manifest reality. Like sound waves reflecting off distant mountains, your beliefs reverberate through the cosmic sphere until they find their way back to you. Rufus understood this principle in his own way. Each morning, he would stand in his modest garden, speaking words of abundance into the dawn. While others saw only struggling seedlings, he addressed his plants as though they already bore abundant fruit. He blessed his empty storehouse as though it overflowed with harvest. To watching eyes, he appeared to speak to nothing, yet he knew his words carried power. Months passed, and slowly his garden flourished beyond measure. His storehouse filled with unexpected abundance. Opportunities bloomed like spring flowers after rain. The echo of his unwavering hope had returned, bearing gifts that matched the magnitude of his faith. This demonstrates the perfect law. Every declaration into the universe creates a corresponding echo. Nothing is lost in the infinite chamber of creation. Your words of faith, your thoughts of abundance, your beliefs in possibility. All these travel outward only to return, carrying manifestation in their wings. The power lies not in the volume of your voice, but in the certainty of your heart. When you speak to the universe, know that its vast chambers hold every syllable, every vibration of your faith. These cosmic echoes grow stronger with each passing moment until they manifest as living reality in your world. As the sacred texts whisper, "In the beginning was the Word." This truth remains unaltered. Your words shape the substance of your tomorrow. The universe never fails to echo back the essence of what you release into its care. Sacred practice. In the quiet sanctuary of night, speak one pure affirmation into the darkness. Let it rise from your heart with complete faith, knowing the universe's infinite chambers will hold and multiply its power. Feel its vibration moving outward, gathering strength as it travels through divine dimensions, preparing to return as blessed reality. Trust in the eternal law of echo, for what you speak with conviction must return with power. Chapter 27. The Infinite Doorway. In the depths of a remote valley, Priscilla spent years gazing at the same mountains, believing they marked the boundaries of what was possible. Each dawn she would wake to tend her small garden, convinced that life offered only what lay within those familiar peaks. The fruits of her labor were modest, yet she accepted this as the limit of what existence could provide. One morning, as golden rays pierced through morning mist, Priscilla noticed something she had overlooked countless times before: a small path leading between two rocks. Following this trail revealed not one, but dozens of hidden passages, each leading to flourishing valleys she never knew existed. In that moment, her understanding transformed. She had not been trapped by circumstances, but by her own vision. This truth echoes through the chambers of existence. Life presents infinite doorways of opportunity. What appears as limitation is merely the veil of perception, waiting to be lifted by awakened eyes. Each circumstance, each moment, contains countless thresholds leading to new possibilities. The universe does not deal in scarcity. It manifests in abundant pathways, ever multiplying as consciousness expands. Clyde's journey mirrors this wisdom. As a merchant in the bustling marketplace, he faced rejection after rejection trying to sell his wares through the same channels. Yet rather than accepting defeat, he began to see each no as a directive toward an undiscovered yes. When the grand merchants turned him away, he discovered a hidden alley where smaller shops thrived. There, his unique offerings found not just acceptance, but celebration, bringing him greater prosperity than the main street ever could have provided. This principle whispers through every experience. When one door seems closed, infinite others stand ready to open. The universe never restricts, it redirects. What appears as denial in one direction becomes invitation to greater fulfillment in another. The key lies not in forcing locked doors, but in maintaining the awareness that countless thresholds await your discovery. Every setback carries within it the seed of greater advancement. Every rejection points toward superior acceptance. The flow of life never truly stops. It simply shifts course, leading you toward channels better suited to your highest good. Like water finding its way to the sea, your destiny will always find its path, often through unexpected openings. The question is not whether opportunities exist, but whether you remain alert to their endless presence. Every moment contains multiple doorways, each leading to new dimensions of possibility. The universe delights in surprising those who maintain this awareness, often revealing its grandest gifts through passages that seemed insignificant at first glance. As you lay down to rest tonight, see yourself stepping through an infinite golden doorway into fulfillment. Your passage through this threshold marks not an ending, but an opening into ever-expanding possibilities, each more magnificent than the last. Chapter 28. The Ocean of Abundance. An aged merchant named Harriet sat daily at her small shop, carefully counting every coin as though each might be the last. Her hands trembled when making change, fearing that giving too much would leave her with nothing. Each morning she opened her doors with trepidation, measuring success in meager increments, always preparing for scarcity. The universe speaks in abundance, yet Harriet listened through filters of limitation. Like many who walk this earthly path, she believed her vessel too modest to hold life's grander gifts. Her cup, though precious, remained small because her thoughts kept it so. Yet within every soul lies an infinite capacity for receiving. This truth reveals itself not through force, but through gentle allowance. Just as the ocean contains all waters without strain, your being naturally expands to embrace greater blessings. The only limits are those you accept as real. Consider Elias, who began with a corner store much like Harriet's. While others clutched tightly to what they had, he opened his mind to expansion. He did not ask, "How little can I lose?" but rather, "How much can I receive?" Each sale became not a subtraction, but an invitation for more. His shelves seemed to stock themselves, his accounts grew without strain, and soon one store multiplied into many. The teaching speaks clearly. Abundance flows not by the size of your cup, but by your willingness to let it grow. When you release the fear of receiving too much, your vessel naturally expands to hold all that the universe eagerly offers. Like water finding its level, prosperity rises to match your capacity to embrace it. The ocean never questions its ability to hold all rivers that flow into it. It simply expands, embraces, and remains full. This same principle governs all channels of abundance. Your capacity for receiving grows in direct proportion to your willingness to allow it. This sacred law operates with perfect precision. When you approach life with a thimble, you receive a thimble's worth. When you approach with an ocean's expectancy, the universe fills accordingly. The supply never diminishes. Only our acceptance of it varies. What appeared as scarcity to Harriet was merely the shadow of her own restrictions. What manifested as abundance for Elias was simply his recognition of life's limitless nature. The same infinite source served them both, responding precisely to their internal measures. Tonight's practice. As you prepare for sleep, make yourself comfortable and breathe deeply. Imagine yourself floating effortlessly on a vast golden ocean under starlit skies. Feel each gentle wave washing over you, carrying infinite abundance into your being. Let every ripple remind you that supply never ends. It simply flows endlessly from the cosmic source. Rest in this knowing, allowing your capacity for receiving to expand with each peaceful breath. Chapter 29. The Summit of Surrender. In the shadow of towering aspirations, Minnie pushed against life's resistance with all her might. Each day she strained, muscles taut and spirit weary, believing success demanded constant struggle. Her dreams of achievement became a burden, weighing heavily upon shoulders already bent from endless striving. The universe speaks in whispers, and one quiet dawn, as exhaustion claimed her usual morning ritual of forceful planning, Minnie discovered an ancient truth. The path upward opens not to those who fight, but to those who float. In that moment of complete fatigue, when her grip finally loosened, she felt herself lifted, as though carried by unseen winds. What you resist persists, while what you release returns transformed. This is the paradox at the heart of manifestation. The tighter you grasp, the more elusive your desires become. Yet in surrender, you align with the natural rise of life itself. Jasper's tale mirrors this sacred wisdom. For years, he pursued his vision of establishing a healing sanctuary, pushing against every obstacle with determined force. His days became battles, his nights strategic planning sessions, until weariness seeped into his very bones. It was only when illness forced him to rest that the miracle occurred. In his bed of surrender, Jasper watched as doors effortlessly opened. People appeared offering exactly what he needed. Resources flowed without strain. The very mountain he had tried to climb seemed to bow before him, creating gentle slopes where once stood sheer cliffs. The universe operates through the law of least resistance. Like water finding its natural course, blessings flow most freely when we cease to force their direction. Your desires ascend not through the labor of your hands, but through the surrender of your heart. Think of how clouds rise without effort, how flowers bloom without strain, how stars shine without trying. This same effortless power lives within you. When you release the need to control the path, you discover you are already being carried toward your highest good. The art of surrender is not passive resignation, but active trust. It is the recognition that the universe holds infinite intelligence, orchestrating circumstances far beyond your limited perspective. In releasing your grip on how things must unfold, you allow this greater wisdom to work through you. What you seek is already seeking you. The summit of your desires knows the perfect path to your feet. Your role is not to climb through force, but to rise through faith, allowing the invisible currents of divine timing to lift you naturally to your destined height. As you rest tonight, feel the universe carrying you effortlessly upward. No climbing, only rising. Chapter 30. The Divine Shift. A merchant named Vera wandered from temple to temple, seeking wisdom in distant lands. She collected scrolls of ancient teachings, studied with renowned masters, and performed countless rituals, yet fulfillment remained elusive. One night, beneath a starlit sky, she ceased her endless seeking and sat in perfect stillness. In that moment of complete surrender, a truth dawned within her. She had never been separate from the power she sought. This revelation marks the essence of the divine shift, the moment when you recognize that all seeking ends in the remembrance of who you truly are. You are not merely a vessel waiting to be filled, but the very source from which abundance flows. The universe does not require your struggle or endless quest for worthiness. It awaits only your awakening to the truth that you are already complete. Consider the transformation of Lionel, a simple gardener who lived in constant worry about survival. For years, he pushed against life's current, forcing outcomes and exhausting himself in the process. Then one morning, While tending his flowers, he experienced a profound inner shift. Rather than seeing himself as separate from the abundance he desired, he recognized his oneness with the infinite flow of life. From that day forward, Lionel stopped struggling against circumstances. He moved through his days with quiet certainty, knowing that just as flowers naturally bloom in season, his good would unfold in divine timing. Within months, his small garden expanded into a thriving business. People were drawn to the peace that emanated from his presence. Wealth flowed effortlessly, relationships deepened, and opportunities appeared as if by magic. Yet these outer changes merely reflected the inner transformation. The divine shift is not about acquiring more. It is about awakening to the truth that you are the creator of your experience. When you align with this knowing, the universe responds not to your wants, but to your essence. This final teaching reveals that manifestation is not about becoming something new, but remembering what you have always been. The power you seek has never left you. It pulses in your every breath, whispers in your deepest desires, and waits in the silence between your thoughts. As you embrace this truth, resistance dissolves into acceptance, doubt transforms into knowing, and struggle yields to grace. You need not journey far or search endlessly. The divine shift occurs in the sacred space of your own heart, where you finally recognize yourself as the author of your destiny. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, whisper to your soul, I am the divine shift. I am creator. I am whole. And watch life reshape with reverence. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. You have traversed the sacred path from yearning to knowing, from seeking to becoming. Through these chapters, ancient wisdom has awakened within you, revealing truths that have always resided in your heart. The universe's eternal laws now flow through your understanding like a golden river, washing away old patterns of doubt and limitation. Each teaching has planted seeds in the fertile soil of your consciousness. The law of attraction stands revealed not as distant magic, but as your natural inheritance. Your thoughts shape reality not through force, but through alignment with universal truth. Every breath draws you deeper into harmony with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all creation. As these teachings settle into your being, remember that transformation unfolds naturally, like dawn breaking across the horizon. You need not strain to manifest. Your role is to align with the current already carrying you toward fulfillment. The divine shift occurs when you recognize that you are not separate from the source of all abundance. Your journey through these chapters has been more than learning. It has been remembrance. The universe has always moved in perfect synchronicity with your highest good, waiting only for your recognition of this truth. Now you understand that miracles are not exceptions, but expressions of natural law. Let these teachings rest gently in your heart as you sleep. Your subconscious mind, that powerful gateway to universal wisdom, absorbs these truths and weaves them into the fabric of your being. Every night's rest deepens your connection to the infinite intelligence that guides all life. You stand now at the threshold of living these principles rather than simply knowing them. Your worth is boundless, your potential unlimited, your connection to Source unbreakable. The universe eagerly responds to your radiance, bringing forth blessings that match your inner light. This awakening marks not an ending but a beginning, your divine inheritance claiming its rightful expression through you.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.